Okay, welcome to another London map tour. So this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through North London. So, okay, if you scroll in here, this is London on Google Maps. Do you see the Thames River here? By the way, it's pronounced Thames. I hear people from other cities call it the Thames River because it's T-H-A-M-E-S. Have you no culture? All right, it's named after the London, England River, which is also pronounced Thames. All right, it's Thames River. Anyway, I'm going to follow the North Fork of the Thames River. It splits off right here and goes to the north. And pretty much everything up here is what I'm going to cover today. Although technically, like, this part's like West London. It's kind of west. But I just figured the river's a good dividing line to go by here, okay? So we're going to look at two of some of the best schools in Ontario are located in North London. Like, I did the math, and students at these schools perform better than 97% of other schools in Ontario, which is crazy, okay? So there's two schools in two different neighborhoods we're going to look at there. Let's start with Oakridge. So if you look at your map down here on Google Maps, again, just north of the river, Thames River here. This is a great park, by the way, Springbank Park. It's like a famous London, Ontario park. It's huge. Right above that is Oakridge. Now, if we click it on the map, let's see what it does. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good job of highlighting where Oakridge is, although I would say up here is typically Oakridge. I think they call it Oakridge Heights, some people refer to it as, but I kind of just consider it all Oakridge, all right? Okay, so for dividing lines of Oakridge, again, I consider this Oakridge too, so I would take Wonderland Road, and then south of Sarnia Road, and then Hyde Park is sort of a dividing line. There's only a few neighborhoods over here. The bulk of it's going to be around here. And what you'll find is, like, most of this area is houses built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, but up here in this part that's not highlighted is more like the 2000s. And they're a little bit more pricey. But what I really like about these older homes is you get something in the older areas of London that you don't get with a new build. And that's wide lots, okay? You'll notice, like, if I show you these homes here, these are new builds elsewhere in London, and you'll, like, look at the size of the lot. Like, these are 30-foot lots. That's incredibly small. They're narrow homes, and either your neighbor is right on top of you, or it's like a not very wide home, and it's more long than it is wide. That's how they build them nowadays, because they want to squeeze more sellable lots as they can into their development. But back in the day, they didn't do that. You can get 70, 75-foot wide lots on some of these old homes, okay? And we're going to look at a few here in a sec. Actually, let's just jump right into that. So this is a 1960s side split. It's 75 feet wide by 135 feet deep. So that's a little over a double lot if you were to build a new home today with a developer. Like, it's way wider than most, and that's how they built them back in the day. This house was very well maintained. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it's sold for just over $650,000. That's a pretty good price for today's broken real estate market, and that's probably as low as you're going to get in North and West London. It's just going to go up from there, including in this Oakridge neighborhood. So here's another one. This one's a bit more money. This is a sprawling ranch. It's like 1,500 square feet, all on one level, which is nice. This sold for a little over $850,000. Part of that is because it was renovated so nicely inside. Like, it's so much more than the last one we looked at. But also, you got to remember, a ranch is going to be more money than a split-level home. It's just more expensive. You're taking up more land. It's more expensive to build. And they're more desirable because there's no stairs. By the way, my name is Ryan. I am a real estate agent in the London area. I've grown up here my whole life. I know this area. That's my phone number on the screen. If you think you're moving to London and you're looking to buy a house, or you're looking to sell your house in London, feel free to pick my brain, okay? That's my phone number on the screen. Shoot me a text probably first. It's probably easier. But yeah, feel free to give me a call. So back to our map here. Those I just showed you, both of those were south of Oxford Road. Oxford Road's right here, okay? They get a little bit newer if you go north of this Oxford Road area, okay? So let me show you a different one. This here's an example of north of Oxford Road. It's for sale right now at the date of recording, and they're asking $815,000. Oh, by the way, if you go over, like, there's all sorts of different price ranges in Oakridge. If you go over here, closer to London Hunt Club, it's a golf course, you get stuff in this little section. This is Hyde Park Road right over here. That's well over $1 million. Really nice homes. Okay, last part I wanted to show you about Oakridge, and then we'll talk about schools and parks. Okay, so again, these are the train tracks here that this dividing line follows that Google Maps put out. But again, I consider this also Oakridge. This is where a lot of your main commercial stuff is going to be. You got Costco right there. I'm addicted. I love it. Costco nice and close. Here you're going to get homes built more in the 2000s. So I'll give you this one here as an example. This is built in 2012. It's a 3,000 square foot home. It's a big home. It sold for $925,000. All right, so let's talk public schools, okay? If you do live up here in the newer section, just north of the train tracks, you're going to go to Eagle Heights Public School. That's your main public elementary school, and they have a slightly below average rating from the Fraser Institute. Again, the Fraser Institute measures schools based on province-wide testing all over Ontario, okay? So this is slightly below average. And then if you're down here, north of Oxford Road, but south of the train tracks, the main public school is Clara Brenton. Students at this school are slightly above province-wide testing. The average is 6, by the way, so this is slightly above that. So last but not least, south of Oxford Road, down here in this main little area down here, you got a different public school. There's like 3 in this area. You're going to go to a school called Riverside. Now, this is a great rating. This is the best of the 3. This is an 8-point rating from the Fraser Institute. So students at Riverside perform significantly better than the province average. That's really good, but again, on the way, we're going to talk about 2 schools that are some of the best in Ontario, like blows every other school in London out of the water, like just fantastic, okay? They're both in 2 different neighborhoods in North London. That's on the way. But in the meantime, let's keep moving north here. So if this is Oakridge down here, stopping at Sarnia Road, let's go up here to this section. We're going to look at this big square between Fanshawe Park Road, Wonderland, and Hyde Park, okay? And then Sarnia Road. So this giant square right here. Okay, so there's actually 2 different neighborhoods in this section. The dividing line is straight down the middle, okay? Aldersbrook Road runs all the way down here, okay? This and everything east of that is what is called White Hills, and then everything on the other side is called Hyde Park, okay? So let's start with White Hills. White Hills is, I mentioned that in my underrated areas of London video, which you can watch by going to my channel. I go a little bit more in depth there. I think I do. Anyway, we'll see how long I talk. This is an affordable area, probably the most affordable area in this north section of London, okay? It's full of homes from the 70s and 80s mostly, and they're relatively affordable. Like if your budget is $600,000 around there, this is where I personally, if it was my money, I would be looking, because there are some sketchy areas and there's a bit more crime in the east end of London. And yes, I mean, you do get the odd street like Limberlost here, which is known as kind of rough, but for the most part, I mean, this is a very safe, quiet family neighborhood with tree-lined streets, White Hills, and it's relatively affordable. So let's look at some homes. So this one right here is a really good example. It sold a little over, just a touch over $600,000, 4 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms, okay? And then this was built in the 1970s, okay? This is a fine home to raise a family in. So the schools in this area are pretty decent. Most schools are just hovering right around that average mark. For example, Emily Carr Public School, they have an average rating of 5.1 from the Fraser Institute. Students perform exactly average at this school on province-wide testing. So they're not below average and they're not exceeding above the average. It's a normal school filled with normal kids. Okay, back to the map. To the west of this is, like I said, this is all Hyde Park right here. And that is where you get newer houses more in the 2000s. And it's funny, if you drive, like the other day I was driving Aldersbrook and I turned onto Black Acres and it just changed immediately. It's funny, you go from these houses like I just showed you in the 70s to like modern homes built in like 2010. Houses like this. This is built actually in 2017. It's 4 beds, 3 baths. This one sold for just under $800,000. And then this one right here is one of the older ones that's in Hyde Park, still built after the year 2000, 2008 to be exact. It's a big house, though, sold for $850,000. The good thing about Hyde Park is all your major amenities are nearby. Like right here, you see this square? This is where you get Walmart and Canadian Tire. You get Winners up here. I think there's a Lowe's and a Home Depot. There's Montana. Oh, there's Rona right there. Everything is kind of right here that you're going to need. So if you're living back in here, I mean, it's a super short drive. Down here is also still Hyde Park, and there's still nice homes down here. And around here, you'll get some more townhomes. And these are newer townhomes that you're going to get for $600,000 to $700,000. So again, if that's your budget, you're going to get some nice homes in this area. We're also going to talk about another place in London where you're going to get brand new townhomes that are gorgeous for like $600,000 to $700,000. Okay, that's the only way you can get a brand new house in that price point. That's on the way. Okay. Last thing to tell you is that these are big streets here: Fanshawe Park Road, Hyde Park, Wonderland. Anywhere you're going in London, this is going to get you there as quickly as possible. They're big streets where you can, drive at a decent speed. Okay, so up next is just north of that. This is a pretty new area called Fox Hollow, or Foxfield, sometimes people call it. It's just this box here: Sunningdale, Wonderland, Fanshawe Park Road, Hyde Park Road. This box here. Now, on the eastern half of it over here, you do get some that are a little bit older, like 10, 15 years old, but they're all just building this stuff right now. In fact, if you drive up Hyde Park, you just see construction going on because these are all brand new homes over here. And this is what I was talking about. A lot of these on the western half are townhomes that are brand new built, and they're very nice inside. So if you're somebody who wants to be in a great neighborhood where like your neighbors are $1 million homes or more, B, you have $600,000 to $700,000, and C, you're okay with a townhome, this is where you got to be. So here's an example. This was built in 2023, and it sold around the $650,000 mark. Where else are you really going to get a new build for that price? Most homes around this one I'm showing you right now are like this one. This is just a couple years old, and it sold right around that $1 million mark. Now, here's where we get to the problem with London in general. I was going to say a problem with Fox Hollow, but it's bigger than Fox Hollow. It's a London problem. The problem is there is not enough schools. Plain and simple, okay? They do have a new North London school that they're building right now. It's a $19 million project. I don't know when it's going to be done. They don't seem to have that information available to us. So until then, all the people moving into this area have to go to what they call holding school. Now, typically, the holding school is nowhere near as good as the neighborhood you paid to be in, okay? New residents of Fox Hollow are assigned to Wilfrid Jury Public School. It's a bit of a bus ride. It's kind of far. The school doesn't perform that well. 4.5 out of 10 from the Fraser Institute. That's based on province-wide testing, like I said before. Now, here's what's crazy. If you live on the eastern half over here, your holding school is Knollwood Public School, which is even worse. They have a 2.4 out of 10 rating on the Fraser Institute. They are not doing well at that school. It's a bit of a rough school. That's where. So you've paid to be in this nice neighborhood. You paid $1 million for a home, and until that new school is built, I don't know, you're going to be going to that other school. So just something to keep in mind. We're going to come across that problem in other areas here in a second. In fact, speaking of other areas, let's just move right on over slightly east. This is Sunningdale, okay? Sunningdale is a whole nother story. Sunningdale, so growing up in London, Sunningdale was always considered a more high-end luxury area. At least it was for us kids in the poorer areas, okay? I mean, they probably considered themselves upper middle class, but we were like, man, those guys are rich over there in Sunningdale. It's honestly a beautiful area. It's bordered, it's kind of grown outside of its borders here, but it was originally just Sunningdale Road, Richmond Street, Fanshawe Park Road, and then Wonderland. So it's this box right here, okay? Sunningdale Golf and Country Club is right here. This is a private course. It's a very nice course with an expensive membership to get into it. There are condos on Callaway Road and some houses just right around the golf course if you're into that sort of thing. And then you get down here. A lot of these homes are from the early 2000s. Some will be from the 90s. Most of them are over $1 million. Let's have a look at some. So this is, to me, an example of luxury. This is over 4,000 square feet above grade, sold for just over $1.5 million. However, there's also homes like this that you'll find. This one sold for under $800,000. It's much smaller. It's about 20 years old, which is probably, I think about as old as it gets in the Sunningdale area. And then you got stuff like this. This is a condo that I was talking about right along the golf course. It just sold under $700,000. That's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on that one. If you're in London sometime, just take a drive around Sunningdale. You'll see the types of homes that you have. They're absolutely beautiful. And then you got nice parks like this, like Plane Tree Park right here is a gorgeous park with soccer fields and playgrounds and all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, I already said you got the golf course up there. Okay, let's talk schools, because this is what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. One of the best schools in Ontario is located in Sunningdale, or right around Sunningdale. It's Masonville Public School. So it's located right here, okay? And its school district covers most of Sunningdale. Students at this school constantly outperform other schools in Ontario. In fact, out of 3,037 schools ranked in Ontario, students at this school rank number 46 out of over 3,000. So they essentially do better than 3,000 other schools in Ontario, which I think is like 98% of them or something crazy like that. Like, students at this school are some of the best in Ontario, okay? They have a 9.2 out of 10 rating from the Fraser Institute, excuse me. The other school that you might end up going to in Sunningdale is the new $19 million public school they're building. But again, it's not ready yet. So you have a holding school, which is University Heights, which is also above average. This actually isn't a bad holding school to go to. University Heights has an above average rating from the Fraser Institute. Okay, again, so that is Sunningdale right here. From there, we move down into Masonville. So Masonville, actually, let's highlight this here. Does it cover it well? Sometimes they get it wrong on Google Maps. That's pretty good. That's actually a pretty good covering of Masonville. So this is Old Masonville. Hold on. This half over here is Old Masonville, and this is New Masonville over here. Masonville is a great area, and it's been known as a great area for decades. This is London's probably best mall, possibly the biggest. We got 2. We got White Oaks down in the south, and we got this one here. It's a very, very, very nice mall. And then up here, like, you have everything you pretty much need all just around this corner. As far as parks go, over here along the river is Medway Valley Heritage Forest. There's lots of walking trails through there. You're going to see deer in there. You're going to see... I've heard there was beavers in there, which is crazy. I've never seen one, but lots of different animals in there. Really cool. Okay, let's talk about these 2 areas, okay? So Old Masonville is filled with homes. I mean, I think you can even find some in the 50s, the 60s, but a lot of 70s and some 80s in this area. What's nice is, first of all, if you just drive down these streets, there's huge giant trees all around you. You kind of feel like you're in this secluded, nice, quiet neighborhood. Even though you're literally in the middle of London, you do feel kind of like in this quiet little neighborhood, surrounded by trees. And again, same thing I said about Oakridge, big lots. Like, I've seen houses with 80-foot frontage here. So 80 feet. So this is like a triple, quadruple lot compared to a modern new house, okay? These are huge lots with space between you and your neighbor and a nice backyard. This house here is a great example. So this is built mid-1980s. It's like a newer for old Masonville, okay? 72 feet of frontage. They're asking $1.175. It's currently for sale. Not all of them are that big. You do find stuff like this. This one sold around the $850,000 mark. And again, what I think is like the best thing about Old Masonville is this large wooded area right here, this Medway Valley Heritage Forest, I told you. You can just walk right from this park all the way down here into the forest, take your dog for a nice walk away from the city streets and the cars and the busyness. Okay, let's go over to New Masonville, or what is just typically called Masonville. It runs just underneath the mall and all down this street here. Up here belongs to Stony Brook. Also a nice area, but we're not talking about that right now, okay? This is Masonville. Masonville is a little newer, so now we're talking late 80s, early 90s for most of them, and some just kind of touching into the 2000s. So homes like this are a good example. They're going to sell anywhere from $900,000 to $1.5 million in this area. Like I said, this is one of London's best malls. They got about 150 stores in here, and then you got stuff around the corner. You're right at Richmond, and then you can get on Fanshawe Park Road or Sunningdale and go wherever. Like, not bad situated in terms of traffic. It's a bit far from the highway. That's the only thing. If you're someone that needs the highway all the time, way up here isn't the best spot for you. You're going to want to be down here somewhere near the highway. All right. Up next, let's talk about Uplands. Okay, so if I click Uplands on the map, Google Map does a good job of highlighting this new box. Okay. So typically, Uplands, it is growing beyond Sunningdale Road, but typically it was Richmond, Fanshawe Park Road, and then Adelaide borders it to the east, and then Sunningdale to the north. It's this area right here. A lot of it is very similar to Masonville, what we just looked at, but there is like a good mix of different homes here, so let's go over it. So if you go down here, like the southern half section of this, it's houses built in the 80s and the 90s, and they're large and they're stately on nice big lots. Up here, the northern half, it's kind of more in the 2000s, and then if you actually go north of Sunningdale Road, up here's new. Like there's some from like 2017, but there's some from like 2022 that were just built. Actually, here. This is an example modern home built in 2021. So again, this area right here, just south of Sunningdale, you find homes in the 2000s, like this one right here. They're asking $1.139 million. This was built 2008. It's for sale right now. This area is the 2000s. And then if you go below that, like if you look for Philbrook Drive, like right here, like all down here, around here, you get them a little bit older. Here's one that was built in the 80s. It is beautiful. I actually love the 80s homes. They're absolutely beautiful. This sold for just under $1 million. You get a lot of house for a little bit more money. If you look here, you got like a nice park right in the middle with a nice little pond right there. And then over here, this is a walking trail that's going to bring you from Sunningdale down to Fanshawe Park Road. And this is a wooded area right here. If you go to the satellite view, actually, you can probably see it. Yeah, it's a wooded area. I actually haven't explored this, so I don't even know if there's like walking trails and stuff through there. But there are homes here backing onto it, and there's definitely going to be deer and stuff that come into your backyard. So, I mean, there's going to be more pricey. But that's kind of a cool feature there. There's probably walking trails that have been put into there. I doubt that there hasn't. Let's talk about schools now, eh? For most of Uplands, you're going to be going to Jack Chambers School. This is one of London's best schools. This has a 9 out of 10 rating from the Fraser Institute. So at the beginning of this video, I said there's 2 schools that are like some of the best in Ontario that are in North London. This is the other one. Students at this school did better than 90% of students in Ontario on province-wide testing. So this school is ranked number 70 out of 3,037 schools. That is amazing, and it's one of Ontario's best, for sure. So if you're actually north of Sunningdale Road up here, this little section, you're going to be going to a different school, Centennial. That school used to be like in the middle of nowhere before the city started growing. It has a slightly above average rating from the Fraser Institute. It's not a bad school to go to at all. Okay, so I'm kind of tired of talking. So what I'm going to do is, so look, Stony Creek, Stony Brook, and this is kind of Northridge here. All this has already been talked about in 2 different videos. One is the East London video, where I do the map tour, because it's technically also east. And then it's also in underrated areas, specifically Stony Creek I talked about. These are really nice areas. This is going to be homes from the 2000s right here, and then down here you're going to get a lot of like 1960s like starter homes for $600,000-$700,000. Great areas, and most schools in this area are at least an 8-point rating or more. So these are really nice. If you want more details on these videos, go watch the underrated areas of London video. I talk about them there. Okay. Feel free to give me a call. Like I said, I sell real estate in the London area. That's my phone number on the screen. Shoot me a text or something, and we can get together.